And so usually in one of my water bottles, I'll have like electrolyte tabs or something, and I'll use the shot blocks, a little bit of caffeine in it, just all sorts of formulated fuel. You really, normally you want to be like a VW in your daily life as far as you're putting 86 octane. When you're climbing a mountain, you want like race fuel, so like 93 octane. So high fat, high sugar, high electrolytes, high caffeine. I wouldn't do too much caffeine, though. It's a diuretic. You want to avoid using the bathroom on the mountain. Number 2. Maybe I should edit that out. I'll leave it. Tools of the trade. Now we've got a few of them. First of all, you will be starting the journey with snowshoes. These do not look like the ones in the movies that look like tennis rackets. These are formulated just for the Northwest and the kind of snow we get here. And so they're really rigid, and they have knives on the bottom because they're assuming that you're hiking across some sort of crust. And they assumed correctly. MSR is a Northwest company. These are the kind you can rent at any outdoor store here in the Northwest. They're all carrying these because they know what kind of snow they have. I have 5 pairs. I can lend 4 of them out. Obviously, I need 1 pair for myself. So, snowshoes, you will start with those. And most people, in addition to snowshoes, will elect for some poles. In fact, if you rent snowshoes, I think the poles come with it usually. These will extend, obviously, to longer. And these kind of help because one snowshoe will sink more than the other as you step, and it makes you kind of wibbly wobbly, which you won't fall, but you'll burn a lot of extra energy. It'll be like balancing on a balance ball for quite some time on the way up, and you want to conserve your energy for the summit, and so the poles kind of help you conserve energy so that you're not doing some sort of incredible leg workout before the climbing really begins. So that's what the poles are for. You will climb through the forest, up to tree line, up past tree line in snowshoes. It'll be a nice hike. Then, at some point, I'll say, okay, the hiking's over, and now we're climbing. And we'll be going up something roughly like this. It has no cliffs you can slide off. It has, I hate to say no avalanche danger, because that's, a fluke could happen. But I really want to avoid any idea of that being a possibility. We're too early in the season for avalanche, and that face is not prone to avalanche. In fact, I'm not sure we have it on record of avalanching in the last decade. Also, I will check the Northwest Avalanche Service, and they will specifically address each mountain. There's people that are paid to go out and test this stuff. I think it's every day or every other day. And we will glean the knowledge from their test. So that's enough on avalanches, but you'll be doing a hard hike up this. And if you do it in snowshoes, you will get a killer calf workout, and your grip won't be as good. And so you'll step, and it'll want to wash out from under you. And so that's just no fun. I have actually summited it in snowshoes, but it's a lot of work. And I want everybody, you go into the trouble to go out there and make the effort and do it. So I want to give you as much assurance that you'll be able to make it to the top as possible. And one of the ways to do that is to take more than just snowshoes. And so at some point we will take off the snowshoes, and we will take the poles, and we will ditch them. We'll bury them in the snow, and we'll mark it with a little flag. It'll be great. Flags. I carry these bad boys with me on my pack. You do not need to. We only need 1 set of them. They are very thin bamboo poles, and they have very brightly colored orange flags at the top. And unlike, was it Goldilocks? Somebody used breadcrumbs at one point, and the birds ate it. The birds will not eat these. But the point is that we can mark our path should something set in, especially if the weather is even a question mark. If it's a blue sky day and we can't see anything for miles, we'll just leave these at the snowshoes. But if it's at all questionable, we'll put one by the snowshoes, and we'll just put them periodically up the mountain. That way, if kind of a mist blows in, we can just follow them on back down. Such a simple thing, So many mountain climbing accidents happen because people refuse to use common sense, and this is your safety line, and they're 3 feet long, so they will stay in there. They stick pretty good. Anyway, we'll ditch that there or start posting them, and then we will put on these. These are crampons, little knives that fit on your boot, and this is a pair of them just kind of stacked over the top of each other because I have them strapped to my backpack up until this point. And what you'll want to have done is pre-size these at home because there's a bunch of settings in here and little doodads, and you'll want to pre-size them. And you can rent these at the mountain shop, which includes a helmet, crampon, a boot, or two crampons, and an axe. And it's $25, something like that. It's a mountain shop. I'll put the link in there. Or you can rent just the crampons for $5 at Next Adventure, and just the ice axe for $5 at Next Adventure. So you put on your crampons. That you really want them snug so they do their job well. It's a good time to eat, get some water, take some pictures. You don't want to rush the process. You want to put those on. I can put mine on about 5 minutes, maybe less. If you take 10, great. Whatever you need to do to make them fit right. And your axe. And your axe will come with a little leash like this one, which you'll put around your wrist. It has, you have a glove and a jacket and all that on. And the reason you have the leash is because people commonly forget, if the entire surface which you're living on for the next few hours is like this, anything you drop slides. And you're above tree line, so there's no trees to stop it. And so this includes your water bottle and your sunblock and everything else, just away it goes. And your axe, we don't want that sliding down because this would make a good weapon. And so it's attached to your wrist, and for the most part, you'll use it as a cane the rest of the way up. In more serious mountain climbing, they will use a different style axe. This is an alpine axe. They will use a climber's axe. It's got a funny bend, a little bit more downward. To climb up, they'll use 2 of them, climb up some sort of ice wall. You're not doing any of that. That's not what this is. And that's not what this axe is made for either. And this is the type they'll give you at the rental shop. You would just use this as a cane. And then when you stop and you take off your backpack, you'll thread this through the strap on your backpack so that it doesn't go sliding down the mountain. Handy in that way. In theory, if you were to start sliding, you could take this and kind of dig it in. But the slope isn't steep enough for you to really slide. The natural friction between your body and the slope is too great. And I say that from experience because I've gotten to the top several times and just tried to slide down the thing, and I had a hard time doing it. So I brought a trash bag one year to kind of help, and even then it was still difficult. So really this is you surviving in a vertical world for a little while, and it gives you a nice good anchor point. You can rest, and you're solid there. So definitely have this. Again, I've done it in snowshoes and trekking poles, but I want to get you to the top. Last thing, footwear. These are the boots I use to climb. They have laces, they are waterproof, and they have a heavy lug pattern on the bottom. You want to avoid work boots if possible. The design of work boots is often kind of generous and the feel of it, and you need something that really fits like a glove because you'll get blisters all over the place if the thing doesn't. And that's why you can see the laces go so far down. And so really laces is a key detail in them fitting. And so you need to, if you can, if you've never hiked in your boots, go for like a 4-mile walk in them, lace them up nice and snug. And even people that have done some hiking in a pair of boots, you will occasionally get blisters, just depending on how prone your feet are to this. And so you'll want to kind of have a little first aid kit ready anyway, and that should assume the worst as far as blisters. If we're going to have one medical issue on this trip, it's going to be blisters. And it's really discouraging because most people don't want to take off their shoe while they're sitting on the side of what equates to a ski hill. And so they'll let it ride and keep going until we have a blister that's popped, and now there's a little bit of blood and pus, and it's just gross. So anyway, what I do, I bring some Band-Aids, some Neosporin, and a piece of duct tape. I'll put the Band-Aids on my heel, or well, Neosporin, Band-Aids, and then duct tape around that to keep it all there. And that usually does the trick. If you have spots of your foot that are prone to blisters, go ahead before you even leave your house and put duct tape on those parts. And that's me. My heels always get blisters, and so I will take a piece of duct tape and I will wrap it around the back of my heel with my foot in the flexed position. That wasn't really a good video there, but my foot kind of in the climbing position, not in the relaxed position. Hey. So at any rate, there's that. Getting the duct tape off. When you get in the shower at the end of the evening, put the drain plug in the tub, and as you're showering, the tub will fill up with water and it will float the duct tape off, and you won't have to do any sort of Band-Aid ripping off scenario. Other safety stuff I could probably mention. We'll, for the most part, stay together as a group. Sometimes I'll have some folks that say, hey, you know what, it's just not in the cards for us, and then we'll turn off together and head back. No Lone Rangering, and you always have to have at least one other person with you. I've seen the Star Trek episodes where things go awry when they say, let's split up, and off we go as individuals. So you always stay with at least one other person as we climb. We'll kind of stretch out as far as climbers go, and then we'll stop and eat a candy bar, and we'll catch back up, and then we'll wait together for these people to catch their breath, and then we'll go again and we'll kind of stretch back out. And that's usually how that works. There's one more safety issue I want to cover. I'm wasting your time trying to think of it. Let me email it to you. Weather. Always turn back if the weather's no good. Why do you mountain climb? Because the view is better from the top. If you've got no view, despite our own best efforts and our own controlling tendencies, that's an X factor that we're just not in charge of. And so if there's no view, then there's no point. And if there is no view, then that probably means the weather is bad and potentially hazardous. As we talk about hazards, some people have varying levels of concern on this one. St. Helens is approximately the summit, or the crater rim of it, is the same height as the last lift on Mount Hood timberline. So while it is a great accomplishment to have done it, it is, we're just not that high. I think it's 7,800 feet or 82 or something like that, if I recall correctly. So we're not going that high. It's not that steep, and it's a lot of fun, and the views are just fantastic. I think that's it. I'll have some notes and some links and some other stuff in the email that accompanies this, and I'm going to do my best to post this on YouTube, which I've never done before. Oh, you thought it was over. I should rehearse the plan. We will carpool to the trailhead, and so we'll need to leave at 4 a.m., which isn't fun. Drink some coffee. And we will drive to the trailhead and get there by 5:30 a.m. It's like Cougar Mountain or Cougar something or other. And then we will get geared up with our bags and everything and hit the trail at 6 a.m. We will take it slow the whole way up, and we will get to the top between 11 and noon. We will take our photos, and then we will slowly head back down, and wouldn't you believe it, we'll probably make better time on the way down than we did on the way up, and we'll get home or back to the trailhead there between 3 and 4:30 p.m. Then we'll drive a little ways to the Lone Fir Resort, and we will get a pizza, and we will have a calorie fest. Or not, you don't have to eat pizza. And I will drink